to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this hypnosis session, you're going to be listening to a metaphorical session designed to tackle a behavior that would be linked to low self-worth. And I see this a lot in the clients that I work with that are addicted to something. And normally the addiction comes about because there was a time in their life where whatever that thing was made them feel better. And maybe that was a substance or alcohol or food or a behavior. But there was a time that actually it was helpful, it was useful. But now it's become ingrained to the point that when they feel certain things, could be stress, anxiety, boredom, loneliness, it leads to replaying of that particular behavior. And in doing so, that can lead to feelings of low self-worth. And the low self-worth comes from the knowledge that, one, this isn't really helping, it's just a substitute. And secondly, that they are capable of living up to a higher standard. So if you're feeling low self-worth linked to a behavior, maybe there's shame connected to it, maybe there's frustration or irritation connected to it, it's a clue that you're falling below your standards. And this session uses a metaphor of a parasite. And parasites are normally creatures that live inside or on a host. So sometimes you get parasites on the outside. So if you think of a flea on a dog, it's on the outside of the animal. But sometimes you have parasites on the inside, like intestinal worms, and they feed on whatever the host consumes. They kind of feed on that, and sometimes, internal organs and horrible things like that. The reason it works as a metaphor is because it's linked to disgust. It's something perceived as very undesirable, and that unlocks the motivation to think, I will do whatever it takes to remove this parasite. This is not a physical parasite, it's an emotional parasite, and it's a parasite that is aiming to do something positive, but in doing so creates something awful for the individual, particularly if it erodes self-esteem and confidence and all of those kind of things. And sometimes there can be a financial or an emotional or a time penalty for whatever the behavior is. So in this hypnosis session, I encourage the client that it was created for to consider how they meet the underlying need in a more elegant way. The underlying need for this was connection, stimulation, and real experiences, stimulation mainly. So by them seeking out real stimulation, that could be physical stimulation like exercise, intellectual stimulation like learning something new, sensory stimulation like a cold shower or being out in nature. These are kind of things that would enable them to meet the same need without needing to go back to this addiction or behavior. I think if you really want to create a change that is doing something to your confidence levels and self-worth, you'll get some value from this. It was created for an individual though, so therefore not all of the suggestions are going to make sense for you. The metaphor might not map across entirely. So if you do like the idea of working with me directly, there will be a link in the description where you can schedule a completely free consultation call to explore working with me. For now though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in and As you breathe in that resourceful and relaxation, and as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense of release. That tension, stress, and worries can start to leave your body in that outward breath. That's it. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension, enabling you to drift to that place, a wonderful place where you get to go deeper and deeper into a part of your subconscious where powerful, profound changes can take place naturally and permanently. So as you breathe in and breathe out, allow your body to feel like it's getting more and more relaxed. And the deeper relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And because you're breathing deeper, you can feel even more relaxed, breathing in that resourceful relaxation and continuing to exhale that tension, stress, and worries. Breathing in and breathing out. Each breath taking you deeper and deeper into a place of safety, clarity, and empowerment. Letting go with each exhale, just feel your body relaxing around your jaw, your neck and your shoulders, just releasing echoes of tension, as though old habits are drifting away, like leaves on a stream or clouds in the sky. And I'd like you to imagine a place in beautiful nature, maybe a forest, a lake, a beach, or a mountain. Feel the freshness, a sense of clarity that you're breathing in that fresh air. But I want you to imagine something odd. Imagine an old door just hovering there, not connected to a building, just a door on a frame, there in nature. I'm going to count down from 5 to 1, and you will imagine walking through the door. And on the other side of the door will be an impressive spiral staircase that you're standing at the top of. But that's on the other side of the door. For now, let's walk through the door from nature to the staircase. 5. Imagine putting your hand on the handle. 4. Turning the handle. 3. Opening the door. 2. Walking through the door. And 1. Closing the door behind you. And now you're no longer in nature. You're at the top of a descending, winding spiral staircase. Each step down the staircase is taking you deeper and deeper into your subconscious mind, the very place where change happens, where old patterns dissolve and a new identity emerges. That's it. Imagine walking down, deep down, and each step down the staircase takes you deeper and deeper relaxed, breathing deeper, exhaling for longer. Muscles relax in your forehead, your jaw, your neck and your shoulders. Keep walking down that staircase. Arms feeling limp, loose and heavy, so heavy, that's it. Breathing from your diaphragm now. Keep walking down the staircase, deeper and deeper down. Legs feeling limp, loose, heavy. Internal organs starting to relax. And you become aware of a sensation in your gut, your intestines. Ignore that sensation and can carry on walking down the staircase until you get right to the bottom. Imagine the basement of your subconscious mind, and deep in the shadows of your subconscious, I'd like you to imagine a creature, a parasite, something that slithered in long ago. Many parasites are hidden away in something desirable, hidden in delicious food. And maybe this parasite, an emotional parasite, found its way in something that seemed fascinating, desirable, alluring, something from your childhood. Imagine it found its way in to the very gut of your sense of self-worth and use the power of your imagination to imagine a disgusting, bloated, long, slimy, intestinal worm. But this worm does not feed on your food or your body, but on your value, your integrity, your own standards and self-respect. And every now and then it whispers to you through your intuition, encouraging you to seek out fabricated connection, synthetic pleasure, cheap, pixelated illusions of intimacy. And maybe it hijacks real emotions like stress and overwhelm. Maybe you hear it as an inner dialogue voice. Maybe it says, "Go on." It encourages you to look on a device. And we know it erodes and feeds on your self-worth because there is secrecy, something you hide. There is shame connected. Maybe it toys with your emotions, saying that you deserve it, telling you that no one will know, urging you to do it just one more time. But each time you listen, it grows stronger. And that version of you that is full of pride, self-esteem and self-respect grows dimmer. And when you allow the parasite to persuade you, to manipulate you, the clue is the irritation and the low self-worth that follows. Echoes of shame, a sense that you've slipped below your own standards. But that's not weakness. That's your true self trying to scream through the noise. The irritation is not with other people. It's with you. Your unconscious knows you're capable of better, more, that you deserve real stimulation, real connection. There is a battle within you. A part of you that knows your self-worth, and the parasite that tries to lower it. And the part that knows your worth is trying to wake you up, to fight back. Because this parasite, this disgusting worm-like creature, only survives on fake stimulation. Endless scrolling, mindless urges, disconnected screens. There is a way to kill this parasite. Everything has an Achilles heel. What this parasite can't stand is high standards and real stimulation. It can't digest that. It's a poison to it. What it chokes on and suffocates on is real life. I want you to imagine starving that parasite of low self-worth. No matter how hard it tries, you simply stop feeding it. And like anything that feels like its very existence is threatened, maybe it tries harder. But the harder it tries, the more you're determined and resolute in your desire to remove it. And there's many ways that you can poison or starve this parasite. You could go for a run or a jog, a long hike. When you feel the oxygen in your lungs, the muscles firing, that parasite recoils. When you hug someone you care about, when you feel that warmth, connection, it burns the parasite. And when you learn something new, when you feed your mind, that intellectual fire scorches it from the inside. And when you sit with someone eye to eye, not for validation, but mindful connection, the parasite gets weaker. And each time you ignore the whisper, you starve it. You are reclaiming your self-worth. You're reclaiming your time, your energy, your value. All along, you've craved something real. And this parasite is just an echo from your childhood. at a time when a poor quality substitute felt somehow valuable. But it was only meant to be a stepping stone to real experiences. Not a fortress you retreat to, but a stepping stone you never need to return to. So from this moment forward, every urge is not a command. It's a test, a challenge. In fact, you want it to be tenacious, to try its hardest to get you to fall back into an old habit. Because this is where you get to defeat the parasite. In every good story, the hero goes on a journey, and the old version of them has to die for the new version of them to exist. But that change is always tested by facing their nemesis. This parasite is your nemesis, and you will defeat it in battle at a time when things are stressful or overwhelming, or you feel lonely or bored. That's when this parasite will try and take its opportunity. And that is your best opportunity to defeat it. When you are at your most vulnerable, if you can win that battle, you can win any battle. And in doing so, you become the version of yourself that values yourself. The version of you that honors your energy. The version of you that takes pride in being discerning with your time, your focus, your attention. The kind of person who doesn't need scraps of digital debris to feel alive. You don't need to scavenge for connection or stimulation, because you can seek and discover and experience so much of what's fully real. And what if each time that urge appeals, you smile? You recognize you're being tested once again, and you choose to feed that ideal version of you rather than feed the parasite. Stimulation can come in many forms. A freezing cold shower, a workout, a walk in nature, a phone call, a book, deep breathing, learning something new. You can stimulate yourself with real things, so you don't need echoes of the past. Because you're not just killing a parasite, you are reclaiming and resurrecting your power. I want you to imagine it's 2 months from now. See yourself waking up with energy, focus, and clarity. And you can tell from your expression that you're proud of yourself. High self-esteem, high confidence. Other people notice the difference in your eyes, in your posture, in your presence. Imagine 2 months from now that old voice That manipulative parasite tries just one more time. But now it's a faint echo. And you laugh because you've already won. And that version you are in 2 months' time will not succumb to something synthetic and fake and processed, because you're not starving. You have so much fulfillment from what's real. You don't need that poor quality substitute anymore. And that future version of you, I want you to see someone trying to provoke you, annoy you, irritate you. But that version of you has such high confidence and self-esteem, aligned with what you truly value. You don't need to play the game of anyone else. See yourself confident, self-assured, aligned with wonderful resources that move you forward. So it's time to leave that place with a glimpse of the future that reassures you that starving the parasite is exactly what's required to lead you to the future that you deserve and desire. So imagine walking up that spiral staircase. Imagine walking through a door, finding yourself back out in nature. But it's this new version of you that returns, not the old version. The version of you utterly convinced, not that you can starve the parasite, but that you will. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.